Welcome, friends. Today I am visiting with Dori Goebel. Years ago, Dori read her friend's online request for a kidney donation. After becoming aware of her friend's need, she heard God's call to help. As a kidney donor, Dori not only saved her friend's life, but she inspires us all to serve in mission as a volunteer and as a disciple of Christ. Let's listen to Dori's remarkable story together.
Okay. So it was February of 2018, and I was scrolling through Facebook and saw a post from a friend of mine that I've known for 10 or 11 years, telling her story about having polycystic kidney disease, and that she was at the point where she needed to begin to look for a kidney donor. And as I was sitting there reading the story, I got to the end of her post, and she said, if you're interested, then call this number. And I was sitting in my office, and I remember the Lord speaking to me and saying, write the number down. And I went, really? Okay. So I did, and stuck it aside. And then another few days go by, and I was cleaning up papers on my desk and came across the number. And God said, call the number. So I did. And I got the donor coordinator, and she said, well, you have to fill out all this paperwork, and you'll hear in, a few days or weeks or whatever. So she emailed me the paperwork. I filled it out, scanned it in, and sent it back. Forgot about it. And then the next week I got a call saying, oh, you're approved to be screened. So I went in, and I'm thinking I'm going to be there for a while. So I had my water and my books and all this kind of stuff to be there for a while. And I was literally there about 10 minutes. They took blood, took my blood pressure, my weight, said, okay, see you later. I was like, what? They said, it'll be about 3 weeks before you hear. So at that point, I thought, maybe I should tell my husband what I'm doing. Would be helpful. And so we were at dinner, and I said, honey, I probably should tell you something that I'm doing. And he said, okay. And so I told him, and he did not miss a beat. He literally turned and looked at me and said, oh, you'll be a match. And I was like, okay, I think it's a little more than you saying I'll be a match. And he said, no, if God's made it that clear, you'll be a match. I was like, okay. So 3 or 4 days later, I get this call saying I'm a match. And I literally walked out to my husband's office and started bawling. And he's like, what happened? I said, I'm a match. So then I had to go through a bunch of testing that did require books and a thing of water, time-wise. But I didn't feel comfortable sharing with anybody other than my husband what I was doing. So I was supposed to be, the day of all my extensive testing, I was supposed to be going with my college friends to the mountains for a weekend retreat. And so all I felt comfortable saying to them was, hey y'all, I'm gonna have to meet you up there. I have something to do Friday morning that I can't get out of. And they were like, are you okay? What's going on? And I was like, no, I'm fine. I just need to do this thing. So I do all my testing, and I get to the mountains and meet my friends for lunch. Well, as you know, most of you probably know with girlfriends, it's talk, 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 talk the whole time. So I'm sitting there, and it's dead silent. Like nobody's talking at lunch. And so I finally said, okay, I know we're not talking because y'all are dying to know what's going on. I still don't feel comfortable sharing, but just know it's nothing bad, and I'll tell you as soon as I can. So one of my girlfriends says, oh, let me guess. Let us guess. And so I was like, fine. So one of them guesses, two of them guessed these really random things that I was like, no. And then the third one's just quiet. And I finally looked at her and I said, well, Karen, are you going to guess? And she goes, oh, I don't know. You're donating a kidney. I literally dropped my fork and stared at her. And she looked at me and I busted into tears and goes, why did you guess that? Because that's what I'm doing. And she was like, okay. And so many times through the process, God confirmed that I was doing the right thing. I didn't ever hear, I mean, I had people look at me like, you're doing what? But nobody of my trusted inner circle reacted like, you should never do that. It was always support, and I just felt God's continual pursuit. So, of course, there were points along the way, like after all the extensive testing, they could tell me everything about me. At one point, I looked at a doctor and said, listen, only God knows how many hairs are on my head, so if you tell me, I'm going to walk out the door because that's a little too much for you to know. But they found a small cyst in my stomach, and they said it has to come out before you can donate. And I was like, why? It's been there. They said, well, it could become cancer and we have to be proactive and whatever. And they said, don't worry, it's covered as part of your donation process. So we get to about 46 hours, about 4 or 5 days before I'm supposed to have this initial surgery. And I get a call from a coordinator at the hospital that I don't know. And she says, so I need to get your insurance information for the upcoming surgery. And I was like, why? I thought it was, you don't need my insurance, it's covered. And she said, no, this is elective, and so you're going to have to pay for it. I had a total and complete Peter moment where I melted down. I took my eyes off God. I looked at the waves. I just went freaked out. And I was terrified that it wasn't going to happen because I had to have the cyst removed to donate my kidney, and I couldn't figure out. So that night I was out of town and I was in a hotel room pretty much by myself, crying my eyes out, yelling at God, mad. And God, in his ever patient way, the Spirit just said, it's going to be okay. It's still going to happen. Look back at me. This is what you're going to do. So he said, your insurance is going to cover it. You're going to have some to pay, but you're going to start a GoFundMe page. You're going to cover it. It'll be fine. I was like, really? And yeah, that's what I was going to do. So I started a GoFundMe page. I had the surgery paid for in like 2 days, what I had to pay before I even went in for the surgery. So I went in for the initial surgery, had the little tumor removed. That all went fine. And then it turned into my recipient's time to kind of panic. And she was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. I don't know. I know I need it, but I don't know when, and da-da-da-da-da. And so I said, okay, I'm going to give you a time frame that you can do this in. I'm going on a 25th wedding anniversary cruise with my husband in September. I'm not doing it before that. I'm going to Israel in March of next year. I'm not doing it before that, so you have your choice of time. So she was like, all right. So she figured it out, and we did kidney donation. I donated my kidney to her on December 4th of 2018. And it was great. We were in the hospital I was in the hospital for 48 hours. She was in the hospital for a day longer. Kidney worked great in her. I don't miss it. I I don't remember much of December of 2019 because I was asleep a lot of it trying to recover, but it was so amazing. And my recipient is, like I said, she's been a friend for a number of years, and she has an amazing ministry organization here in Greensboro where I live called Restoration Place Counseling, and she has this beautiful, amazing outreach to hundreds of women doing counseling on a sliding scale basis from a Christian foundation. And I was so humbled and blessed to be chosen by God to donate a kidney to her and be able to give her life and extend her life and improve her life, because she blesses so many people through her life. So it was very humbling to be her kidney donor. And she has a huge network of people that know her and love her. So I was just really humbled and blessed by the Lord to be able to be her donor. And so I went to Israel in March, and we were in Magdala one day, and I was walking in, and there was a bunch of stuff going on. We were with a big group of people, and one of our group leaders says to the group in general, I want to introduce you to a girl that's from Greensboro, but she lives here now, and she coordinates all of the volunteers for Magdala. And I couldn't have told you her name. I didn't know what she looked like. I wasn't really paying attention to what was said. I just remember hearing that. So fast forward a few minutes, we're walking around in Magdala, and this person walks up to me and says, "Hi, I know you from somewhere." And I was like, okay. And so she said, I start listing all the things, church, school, whatever. And all of a sudden she goes, "No, you know Cindy." And I was like, "Cindy, my kidney recipient?" And she goes, "Yes." She goes, "I know you from Facebook. You donated your kidney to Cindy." And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "I know Cindy, and I was praying about donating to Cindy, but God told me no, he had someone else." And then fast forward, a few months, and I meet her in Magdala, where Mary Magdalene was from, where the Lord had healed Mary Magdalene, where just so much had happened. Needless to say, I was a bucket of tears through the rest of that. But that experience allowed me to share my kidney donation story with all the people on my interfaith mission trip to Israel as a whole. And so the Lord has just worked through my donation experience and my time volunteering to donate my kidney in such amazing ways, and he still continues to. And I'm just totally in awe of being able to do that and to participate in a larger story.
Take a simple step in mission this weekend by listening to the needs around you in the world and letting God lead the way. Take care, and blessings to you this day.